But we're now getting nuggets of gold. Nuggets of gold from the Raiders. If you have not heard, perhaps not, we have now learned that the former Vegas GM who comes from Patriot Place, Dave Ziegler, late of Vegas, tried to talk head coach Josh McDaniels out of signing Jimmy Garoppolo to a fateful 3-year contract for $72 million. Sports Illustrated, they're still in business. That's a shocker. They reported that Ziegler thought it was a horrible decision to sign Jimmy Garoppolo. But ultimately, he said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do it anyway. And because Josh McDaniels had final edit, and Josh wanted Garoppolo, and so Dave Ziegler said, I got to give this guy my quarterback, plus he's got more power than me. And but Dave Ziegler, the GM of the Raiders, thought it was a terrible decision. So let us discuss the question, what is the meaning, what is the purpose of Dave Ziegler and this story of him ripping Josh McDaniels on both of their exits from Lost Wages, Nevada? So I've got Greyhound Bus, Spades, and TikTok. And we will combine all of these things together, and we are going to make a bunch of losing tickets at the sportsbook, which is what Dave Ziegler and Josh McDaniels gave Raider fans, a bunch of those losing tickets.
Yeah, that's it.
Out. Yeah, exactly. All right, so our top thought on this is welcome to the Spin Cycle. Not Spin Cycle Regina. She lives in Minnesota. But Dave Ziegler is attempting to distance himself from the nuclear fallout zone of the Raider rubble. And it's like bedrock there, the Raider rubble. Even though he was the GM, Ziegler is attempting to say that he had no power. He was ballless, toothless as the general manager of the Raiders, and he's trying to downplay his involvement. So let's play a game. We haven't played this game in a while. I would like to play the game right now if you will give me the opportunity to play it with you. So here's the game. Who leaked the story? Who do you think leaked the story that Dave Ziegler did not want Jimmy Garoppolo as the Raiders quarterback? That he attempted to play hardball, but McDaniels went out. So the two questions we always ask are, the first question is who stands to gain from the leak? And why would you leak now? Okay. The clear and obvious answer to both of those questions is Dave Ziegler and people around him playing with loaded dice. He's trying to control the narrative. He's trying to drive the narrative that even though he was the GM, he had no power, and he knew this was a disaster, and he knew better, but he could not convince his head coach to go the other way. So he's trying to minimize the damage done with the Raiders. You plant the story now because the story's still fresh, and Ziegler can then latch his tentacles on to some other NFL front office gig in Timbuktu or parts unknown. You just figure out a job somewhere out in the great blue yonder. And Dave Ziegler went to the Greyhound bus terminal, and he tossed Josh McDaniels under the bus that was headed to El Paso. He just tossed him right under the bus. He washed his hands with Jimmy G and is now free to roam around the cabin to try to find another NFL gig somewhere. It wasn't my fault. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. All right, furthermore, headline from New England, AFC East cellar dwellers still making news. Several of our P1s in the greater Boston area who live in the Commonwealth and the New England states who listen to this show religiously, and God bless you. These fine folks sent me this show. I had this sent from multiple listeners, and I did not see this initially, so I will thank you for sending this my way. And it involves the ownership class of the Patriots admitting the team's a bunch of patsies in a viral clip. Now, in the clip, it was taken off the Fox broadcast with our friend Kenny Albert doing the game. And it shows owner Robert Kraft and his right-hand man, a.k.a. son Jonathan Kraft. They were sitting in their luxury box, their ivory tower, looking down at their minions, the great unwashed, the hoi polloi out in the field and in the stands. And they're watching the game against the team formerly known as the Redskins. And the lip readers noticed that Jonathan Kraft trashed the Patriots. Say what? Yeah, lip readers, according to the lip readers. Now, this is in the third quarter. He waved his hand, a little wave of the hand, and said, we're not a good team while he was reaching for his binoculars. Now, sitting to his right was the owner of the team, his pops, Robert Kraft, who knows where to get a good massage. The Orchids of Asia Day Spa there. He also, his favorite tree is the fruit of the poisonous tree. That's his favorite tree. But anyway, in the video, as we said, Jonathan Kraft, the CEO, was ripping the Patriots. Is this something or nothing? Is this something or nothing? So I will go first. I'm going to say this is nothing. Because I will guarantee you that behind closed doors, this is the kind of stuff that is said all the time. They know. That you know what you know and you don't know what you don't know. Publicly, they have to candy coat everything with sugar. Privately, they can be frank. Privately, off the record, he didn't realize that he was on camera at the time, Jonathan Kraft. And he's playing spades, right? He's calling a spade a spade. The Patriots need humanitarian relief at this point. They need a humanitarian aid mission to save them. They're terrible. They're bad at special teams, offense, and defense. I don't know what else there is. Keep in mind, Jonathan Kraft said the team was not good enough while the team was winning. They were up by a touchdown in the third quarter against Washington. You know what you know, and when you've brushed up against greatness, you know the opposite of greatness, and no one is singing Kumbaya as the Patriot traveling party heads to Germany. And will Bill Belichick make it back? I believe he will. I'm in a Belichick will not be fired mindset. But we'll see if I'm right or not. Should they go out and lose to the Colts? I look at the Colts pretty similar to the Washington football team. If you lost to Washington, you can certainly lose to the Indianapolis Colts and the games in Germany. And we know Mac Jones, things go haywire for him. Well, things also go haywire for Minshew Mania. My guy, Gardner Minshew, who's a bit of a loose cannon. All right, party shop. Headline from the Music City, the Tennessee Titans going all in on Will Levis. The rookie quarterback, no longer just an injury replacement guy. He's no longer that. He will start the game on Sunday against Tampa Bay, now known as Tampa Bay again. So Will Levis is going to start. Now, this is newsworthy, and I'll tell you why, because the veteran starting quarterback, Ryan Tannehill, is healthy and has been benched. He has been benched in shame. Tannehill is expected to be the backup, so he'll likely get another bite out of the apple. But for now, he has been demoted. The head coach, Mike Vrabel, is he the next Patriot coach? Mr. Fancy Schmancy himself, Mike Vrabel. Well, he told the reporters, quote, there's clearly something there, was the quote, and that is 4 words about Will Levis. Clearly something there. So the question, what exactly is Mike Vrabel talking about with Will Levis? So here's how I interpreted this particular quote. I'm never wrong about these things. What Mike Vrabel is saying is that Ryan Tannehill is antiquated. It's like using dial-up internet to go on MySpace, where Will Levis is closer to TikTok on high-speed internet. The jury is not in on Will Levis, but the verdict is in on Ryan Tannehill. And they were singing a song in the jury room. In the jury room, the song was, la 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 la, la 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 la, hey, hey, goodbye. That was the song. Tennessee will be giving Will Levis an open casting call, a dry run, dummy run, whatever you want to call it, to have the full-time gig next season. The ball is in his court. Well, it's actually in his hands. And so that's the way I take this. I take it at face value that the Titans like what they saw in week 1 against Atlanta. He didn't completely fall off the map against Pittsburgh. And so they got to find out if they have something. And if they have something, they'll hold on to it. If not, you'll have Alligator Arms Murray as your quarterback next year. Kyler Murray, somebody like that. They'll be the quarterback shuffle yet again. There'll be a bunch of quarterbacks that change teams.